Do you think, not that Koeman is to blame for this, but as a new head coach coming in and seeing the best player of your club and the best player in history, that Koeman maybe should have been a bit more reassuring towards Messi? Maybe Messi had made his mind up anyway, but for that kind of feeling that Messi would have had with his new coach.
But you never quite know what Koeman would want. Because sometimes when you're a chief coach, a head coach, when you come in, you don't want a player that's going to be too demanding, a player that runs the dressing room, a player that, even though he's the best player in the world, could have too much influence on other
even
things.
if it's Messi.
Even if it's Messi. And Ronald Koeman might think this is problematic because Messi doesn't seem as though he's very happy, or he certainly isn't very happy. And he could have to take on a player that's going to influence other players. So he might be quite pleased that Messi is going, and he's going to get he might get more money to spend on a new squad, and then he can get the team into a shape that he wants them to play in. That could be the only thing why Koeman probably wasn't quite as endearing as he could have been to Messi, because, you know, he's still the best player in the world. You still want him, if you're a normal man, you'd still want him in your club.
Surely, yeah.
But Ronald Koeman may just want, as a head coach, come in, I want to do it my way.
Sid, what do you make of this? When what people have been saying that the vibe between them two wasn't great, and would you blame a little bit Koeman for maybe not trying to make the situation better and maybe convince Messi to stay?
Look, I mean, it's perfectly plausible that you can look at it and think maybe Koeman could have handled it slightly differently, although bear in mind that in part his remit was to come in and do this kind of thing. His remit was to come in and bring and pull power back from the dressing room towards the manager's office, to try and impose a new culture on the club. And there's a very clear sense that they do need a new culture, that they do need to change training regimes, they do need to change attitudes towards that. And so in that sense, he probably needed to put down a mark. He couldn't turn up like coaches always do and basically say, well, whatever Messi wants is what Messi gets. At the same time, even if you can then look at that and say, well, maybe he needs to be a bit more sensitive, even if he was partly brought in to not be sensitive, you certainly can't lay the blame at his door for something that's been building for so long. He comes into a context in which Messi is already fairly convinced that he wants to go. He comes into a context in which Messi has already looked at the mechanics of a potential move. And so it's not just a case of being, I'm a bit annoyed, let's see what happens. It's no, I'm a bit annoyed. We've looked into how we could maybe move this on, how we could maybe handle this. And also, as Stewart says, you look at it from Koeman's point of view, he will want his own identity on the team. He'll want that control. He will know that for as long as Messi is there, some of those habits and cultures from before will continue. And if he's going to break them, he may need to kind of break, if you like, the head of that, break the whole point of that. And the other thing is, and I wonder what you think about this, Stu, that there's a bit of me that thinks, is it better for a manager to come in after Messi's gone, if only because at that point, no one blames you? Imagine they don't succeed next year. Everyone will say, well, of course, poor old Koeman turned up having lost Lionel Messi.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. If he comes in and he has to do the things the Messi way, and he'll always feel regretful that I should have let him go, or shouldn't have tried to get him to stay because I couldn't impose the way I want to play on the team because Messi's imposing his way. So I can't really do the things I want to do. So if I'm going to get the sack and I'm going to be criticised for not doing particularly well, I want to do it my way, not somebody else's way. And that's why I was talking about the head coach coming in and maybe wanting Messi to go.
I mean, Koeman had a very positive chat with Antoine Griezmann, for example. I was told yesterday about how he wants to build a team around him, and Messi wasn't mentioned in that chat. But you start wondering, like you two were saying, if already in Koeman's head Messi's gone anyway. So okay, let's see what I can do.
It's much easier to talk to Antoine Griezmann about how I'm going to build a team, Ranger, than it is Messi, because Messi's already set in his ways and he's going to be so demanding of what he wants from Koeman. Griezmann's not going to be the same for Koeman.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.